You know, in the world of science and research, not all evidence is created equal. So today, let's break down one of the most powerful tools researchers have for making sense of it all, the review article.
I mean, think about it. We are all absolutely flooded with information every single day. So whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone curious about the world, how do you find a real, trustworthy answer to one important question? It can feel pretty impossible, right?
Well, thankfully, researchers have a really powerful method to cut through all that noise. It's called evidence synthesis, and it's basically the official, structured way of gathering all the relevant research on a topic to figure out what it all means when you put it together.
Now, evidence synthesis isn't just one single thing. It's more like a whole category of approaches. You can think of them as 5 main strategies for organizing knowledge, and each one has its own set of special tools, which we're about to get into. First up, you've got the quantitative approach, and as the name suggests, this is all about the numbers. It takes data from multiple studies, like clinical trials, and combines it all statistically. The whole point is to get a much more precise, much more reliable answer than any single study could ever give you on its own. But hey, not every question can be answered with just numbers. Sometimes you need to understand the human side of things, right? That's where qualitative synthesis comes in. This method focuses on exploring people's lived experiences, their perceptions, and their behaviors. It really digs into the why and the how behind the data.
So what if you need both? Exactly. That's when you turn to mixed methods synthesis. It's really the best of both worlds. It combines the what from the hard numbers with the why from those qualitative insights to give you the most complete picture possible. You know, sometimes before you can even answer a question, you need to know what questions have already been asked. Think of mapping synthesis as being like a cartographer, but for research. It literally charts out the entire landscape of evidence on a topic, showing you where there's a ton of research and, maybe even more importantly, where the gaps are.
And finally, let's zoom all the way out to the 30,000-foot view. Meta-evidence synthesis is literally a review of reviews. It takes syntheses that are already done and pulls them all together to give you that super high-level bird's-eye summary. We'll actually see this in action later with a tool called the umbrella review. All right, so those are the 5 big strategies. Now, let's open up the researcher's toolkit and check out the 10 specific types of review articles that actually use these strategies. You've got to think of each one as a specialized tool designed for a very specific job.
Let's kick things off by comparing 2 really common ones that people often mix up. On one hand, you've got the narrative review. It gives you a nice, broad overview, which is great for getting up to speed on a topic. But, and this is a big but, it doesn't follow a strict search plan, so it's really open to the author's personal bias. The systematic review, on the other hand, is the polar opposite. It follows a super rigorous, pre-planned protocol specifically to minimize that bias and answer one very focused question. That difference in rigor, it is everything.
And yeah, the experts are really clear on this point. Because narrative reviews don't have that strict, repeatable process, they can be super biased. They're fine for getting some background information, but you would never want to make a critical decision, like a public health policy, based on just one of those.
Okay, so we've established that the systematic review is the gold standard when you have a super specific question. But what if your question is, a bit broader? What if you just need to explore a whole area?
Well, that is the perfect job for a scoping review. See, while a systematic review drills down deep to find a single answer, a scoping review goes wide to map the entire terrain. Its whole purpose is to figure out the sheer amount and type of research that's out there on a topic, usually without even judging the quality of the studies. It's all about getting the lay of the land.
And believe me, this toolkit has a ton of other cool instruments. For example, a meta-analysis. That's your heavy hitter for quantitative synthesis, combining stats for one powerful number. We've already talked about qualitative evidence synthesis for understanding experiences. Then there's the evidence map, which literally gives you a visual of the research landscape to spot those gaps. The umbrella review, that's our review of reviews. And finally, the integrative review is designed to pull together all kinds of different evidence into one cohesive story.
Okay, but what happens when you don't have time for a 6-month review process? What happens when decisions need to be made right now? Well, for those situations, we have a special duo of reviews built for speed.
First up is the rapid review. It's basically a systematic review on fast forward. To get an answer out the door quickly, it streamlines the process, maybe by limiting the search or doing simpler quality checks. This is crucial for urgent situations, like in the middle of a pandemic. The trade-off, of course, is that you get speed, but there's a slightly higher risk of bias.
And then, for those research fields that are just exploding with new studies all the time, you have the living review. This is so cool. Unlike a normal review that gets published and is immediately a little out of date, this one is never really done. It's a dynamic living document that gets updated constantly as new studies come out, making sure its conclusions are always on the cutting edge.
So, wow, that's a lot of different tools, right? And picking the right one is absolutely key. So how do you know which review to use for which question? Let's make it simple with a quick reference guide.
All right, think of this as your personal cheat sheet. If you just need a broad background on something, a narrative review is fine. Just remember, it can be biased. If you need a super reliable answer to a very specific question, you're looking for a systematic review. That's the gold standard. Need one precise statistical answer? That's a job for a meta-analysis. Just exploring a new field to see what's out there, a scoping review will map it all out for you. And if you want the highest level summary of what all the reviews are saying, you need an umbrella review.
Okay, so why does any of this matter to you? We've gone through all these terms and tools because this stuff isn't just for scientists in a lab. It's for absolutely everyone who wants to make sense of the world today.
Seriously, knowing this stuff is like having a new superpower. It means you can critically look at the research you read, you can understand the real strength of the evidence behind some claim you see online, you can finally tell the difference between some casual overview and a really rigorous, trustworthy synthesis. Because now you know that for basically every type of question, there's a specific tool designed to find the answer.
And that's really the heart of it all. We are swimming in a sea of data, it's true. But now you have a compass. You know about the tools that can help you navigate it, find answers you can trust, and build real knowledge for yourself. So the question isn't just, what do I want to know anymore? It's, what important question am I going to find the answer to?